Hello and welcome back to the channel and the final devlog for Space Submarine. Right off the bat, let me show you the final game. So the starfish now flies in once you start pressing the right button. He talks now, kind of exposition. Explains why you're here, what you're supposed to do, kind of. Ooh, a shark. What's gonna happen now? They start coming from the right, but unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to work on them as much as I'd like, but at least they're animated. So their movement is pretty much going to the left at a static speed. What I would have liked to do, there's a spaceship. The spaceship that you're supposed to get to, you board it and you're off. And that's the end of the game. 3 days, finished it in 3 days. Would have liked to be more productive, but oh well. Anyways, let me show you the code. So this is a bit of a mess, and one interesting thing that occurred to me is that a lot more of the game is happening in the player, inside the player node. So like the starfish is inside the player node because the camera is inside the player node, and I want the starfish to be static on the screen. I want it to move with the player, like the text for the starfish, and actually this shark, the first shark that you see, is using a tween. I would have liked all of the sharks to use a tween, but unfortunately, this is the code for the sharks. Very impressive. I don't even despawn them. There's like 5 of them spawning if you go fast enough. That shouldn't be a problem, but yeah, a lot of the code is inside the player. Like usually the player would have like a sprite, a collision shape, a camera, and maybe definitely some movement code, but maybe a lot of code. But the majority of the nodes would have been in like the game, in the game node, but this is not the case at all. And it was putting me off for a while, but then I realized, why does it matter? Why does it matter, really? Anyways, so I used a lot of tweens. I honestly wanted to figure out tweens with this because I did not understand them before at all. And let me kind of explain why I used them and what I learned. So the reason why I used them is because I wanted the movement, first of all, for the jellyfish to be more organic, because they kind of speed up. Let me play the game to explain this better. So they kind of speed up when they push, and then they slow down because of the water resistance inside an actual ocean. But like, I wanted to simulate that movement. I wanted them to speed up and then slow down. So I would have to do a lot of math for that, but tweens basically allowed me to do that movement with one line of code. And I showed I showed that before, but let me show it again. Jellyfish formation. So their movement is basically this one line of code, and like it would have been a lot of math, and it would have been at least, I don't know, five more lines of code, but with just this one node, it lets me do all that with just one mathematical function. And what tweens do are, they're basically nodes in Godot that allow you to interpolate positions, properties, over time, using different mathematical functions. And these functions, you can see them here. So the function that I'm using for the jellyfish movement is transsign ease in and out. So it would have been ease in out sign. So they are slow in the beginning, they speed up, and then slow down, right? So the shark, the passing shark, is using a different function. It's using cubic ease in. So it's slow in the beginning, but then it speeds up because it's kind of like charging and it's going fast. And that's what I would have liked to do with the rest of the sharks. I would have liked to have them actually in the player node. I would have liked them to be to appear on the right of the screen and kind of be static, but then they would speed at the player, and they would you would have to change positions constantly to avoid them. But yeah, that's about it. It was a really interesting experience because before I had looked at a lot of tween nodes tutorials. It was just kind of, I did not understand why someone would use them, because first of all, you can't use them with kinematic bodies. Yeah, kinematic bodies. You can't use them with kinematic body movement because it messes up the physics engine. But for this game specifically, all of the shark, the player, the jellyfish are all areas 2D, so they don't have physics attached to them. They just collide. If the player collides with the jellyfish or the shark, he dies. But then for kinematic bodies, there's if you use the move and slide function specifically, or move and collide, then there's a physics component to your movement, and the tween just goes through objects. It just doesn't care. So it would cause a lot of problems, at least based on the research I've done. I haven't actually tried it, but it appeared to me that those problems would be there, and according to the internet, they are there. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.